like this, whether you need to buy, sell, or lease. Haley, can I use my hands, or is that where are my hands? Where do they go?
Just say,
Haley.
Just say Haley.
Whether you need my expertise, Haley Norris Realtor, or even do a commercial lease. Haley Norris Realtor. Should I say Remax Real Estate Center or no? Is that too salesy?
No, that's good.
My average days on market is just 50 days. You need my expertise, and that means I'm putting more money back in your pocket.
This is a photo of the sign that was scrubbed clean from the awning of downtown Jonesboro's Godsey's Grill, a restaurant that will no longer be open after today. Wednesday, July 25th, 2018, the final day for business of an establishment that has been in Jonesboro for quite some time now. And a place that was so popular, in fact, at one point, that one building was not enough. And this photo will show you exactly what I'm talking about. They had to get the next door property, do some renovation, and, well, put the locations together. In recent months, it's been curtained off because the extra space was far from needed. We're going to discuss some of the reasons behind why that is, but we're also going to tell you more than we knew originally when we first reported this story on Monday. Because we were told by the management that they were leaving to focus on the Hilltop location. It was made to sound like a willing departure, something they decided on. That's the parent company of Godsey's, owned by Chris Cooper and Wallace Fowler Jr., Wally Fowler. But that's not apparently the full story, because we've since learned through reporting from KIT and the Jonesboro Sun that Godsey's downtown was evicted. There's already a realtor sign up. Or I should say real estate sign, because it's commercial. I'm learning from Haley. But in addition to that, in addition to the downtown location also being sued, the Hilltop location is being sued too. And it's apparently facing a lawsuit that claims it has even more unpaid rent than the downtown location did. So we're going to detail all of that right now as we discuss this in a special report this morning on NEA Report. Catching up, of course, on a story we first broke here. It starts with the downtown location. CFR Grills, LLC, owned by Chris Cooper and Wally Fowler, Wallace Fowler Jr. Of course, the son of the banking giant, Wallace Fowler, in town. We've heard that name. Well, they're the ones that own the Godsey's Grill name now. They purchased it from Gray Hurt and Lisa Godsey, the co-founders, at least, of the establishment, before they left the business, and I suppose hoped that they had left it in better hands. CFR is the defendant in a lawsuit for $22,800 in unpaid rent. It's been filed by TC and JC Investments. A lot of people have private LLCs for their personal investment companies. They apparently own the 226 South Main Street location of Godsey's. And the Jonesboro Sun reports, according to the lawsuit, Godsey's fell behind on $7,200 monthly rent payments last September and October. It had been a 5-year lease that was signed, but that 5-year lease was terminated, and it was changed to a month-to-month. That often happens. Well, it was in May, June, and July of this month that rent was not paid. That's why that Godsey's was evicted. But that's not what we were told, at least, when we spoke with Angie Hemphill, an administrative assistant for CFL, or for more specifically, for the parent company of the Godsey's organization. And she said that the downtown location is closing on Wednesday. No one is losing a job. She said, we invite everyone to join us at our Hilltop location. No one is losing a job. When the Jonesboro Sun called back on Tuesday in a report that was published this morning, she could not elaborate on that or offer any other comment. And there's a pretty good reason why. because we've since learned that the Hilltop location is facing a lawsuit too, this time for $50,550 in unpaid rent and another $28,880 plus some change in late fees. That was filed on July 11th. We actually obtained a copy of the lawsuit. Show you a little of that now. Matter of fact, showing you the tally of the unpaid rent. When you see this right here in this column on the middle, sorry, show you this on my mouse pointer if you can see it moving. I'm going to highlight it. That is the recording of when payments were made. These are late fees accumulated. This is astonishing because every month since about 6 months after the lease was signed, they have been late on the rent at Godsey's Hilltop, except for 1 month. Okay? Went through this with a fine-tooth comb. Right here, that didn't highlight as I wanted it to. Right here, they paid the December 2017 rent early because they were paying rent for the previous month late. On a $10,000 plus monthly rent, they had to pay a 10% late fee, $1,000 a month. Even though the rent was always late up until February, except for 1 month. And one other month, I want to point out, by the way, if you saw it up here, they were 6 days late instead of 7 days, so they saved $1,000 there. In March of this year, no payment was made. Not a payment for April or May or June or July, according to this lawsuit. That means $50,000 plus in unpaid rent for the Hilltop location is now owed, in addition to almost $30,000 for late fees, according to the lease. Do a little scrolling here. And also want to point out the plaintiff is asking for an interest an interest rate in the amount that has not been paid, and courts sometimes award those too. It mentions the failure to pay rent, late charges, and interest as required by the lease is a breach of contract which has caused proximity damages to the plaintiff. In this case, it's RLB. I'm going to mention that too, a different plaintiff, RLB, which stands for Rhonda L. Boyer. It says defendant Fowler is personally liable for all such damages by virtue of his personal guarantee as aforesaid, and accordingly plaintiff should have and recover judgment against him for all unpaid minimum rent. I'm going to show you why that says the way it says, because I'm going to actually show you the lease, okay, in all of this. The lease is made out to Chris Allen Cooper. It will show on the screen, let's see, right there. I highlighted it so you can see. To the tenant. When we scroll down here, Wallace Fowler Jr. is listed as the guarantor, or the one that will ensure that the lease is met, in other words. So it's tenant, guarantor, and of course we know that the business is co-owned by the two. And both businesses that are owned by both individuals have suffered apparently a great deal over the last number of months, possibly even before then. Quality seemed to, well, go down, we'll say, significantly after the location, well, the brand, Godsey's, was sold. As I mentioned earlier, the co-founders, Gray Hurt and Lisa Godsey, they had a number of years of success downtown. And this photo is the example, the prime example of how that they had to get 2 back-to-back businesses downtown just to fit all of the people that wanted to get in there and eat in. That door on the left doesn't even open if you've never been, by the way. The one on the right is the one that you'd have to go in, because the one on the left is just room for more diners. They had to knock the wall down in between there. Not sure what's going to happen now with that. Maybe built back up. But quality seemed to falter after the restaurant was sold, and that's not my observation. That comes from a number of different reviews, both Google reviews and what was at one time Facebook reviews, but those have now been disabled from view, public view. We'll talk about that more in a second, too. As one review said, quote, "This place gone downhill." Another person actually wrote, "It has plummeted in quality since Lisa Godsey left." But around October 2nd, 2017, on that day specifically, I wrote a report on NEAReport.com. And on that day and around it, there was a lot of controversy that was brewing on social media. And it was pertaining to some comments that had been posted by one Wallace W. Fowler Jr. to a patron of the restaurant and one who had worked there previously, but at this point in time was just a regular visitor with a ton of friends that worked there, and her name's Carrie Harden. The comment says, and I'll just read it. I'll read it as it states, which this is going to be interesting to get through. "I do not know how to approach this, so I will be blunt as you know me to be. I've been busy with parties, or I would do this personally. It just was not possible. We got a 1-star review the other day because a child was running wild in the store, and checking the cameras IOT was your child. I know that he is special needs, but I cannot let it hurt our business. As you remember, I was in the office. He ran up to the office, and you had to restrain him while we visited. I am sorry. I understand totally. I cannot have these types of reviews. We must keep him restrained or he will be banned from our restaurants. Not something I personally want to do, but I cannot stand the social media results of negative reviews because he is not contained. I do hope you understand and know we love you. We just cannot have it happen in our doors. I am still awaiting you to get you embroidery up. 3 years is probably the right time. I do not want to ban a child, but we cannot have him running around the store anymore. We are getting several negative comments from paying guests and members. I do hope you understand how hard this was for me to say, but it had to be said. Love you." The post was not the only thing that was posted, but that was what began a litany of backlash. Backlash reviews, backlash posts, shares of this particular story. And it was not good. He was worried about a 1-star review, and he netted himself probably 100 1-star reviews. It may have been more than that. Because in one day, Carrie Harden woke up that morning, Sunday morning, and saw the post and was crying, she told me. First of all, that morning, they were above 4 stars on an average review on Facebook. By that evening, they were below 2 stars on average on Facebook, and it was getting worse. I think they went below that. They eventually disabled it, but not before Fowler continued. He doubled down and in some cases told people in one post that, quote, "I don't take shit off people," or quote, "from others." Harden was overwhelmingly stressed. She didn't ask to be put in this position. And at the same time, she found comfort, which was the warmest part of the story. The only warm part of the story. It was a friend that had invited her to stay until the situation calmed down. Gray Hurt, the co-founder of Godsey's, one of the original owners, stepped up after the experience with the new ownership and said, "We'll help." And Lisa Godsey, in a public Facebook post, denounced the words and said it should have never happened. Fowler's words, of course. She said, "The one thing that's remained the same about our Godsey family," Harden did, "is that we truly care about each other." That's what she said to me. It was then that their reviews and their local reputation was irreparably harmed. It was already in trouble, it seems, based on reviews. But A PR nightmare that just continued to get worse and worse seemed to spell the end. As I mentioned, that was October of 2017, last year. A few more months after that would get us to, of course, the beginning of this year, which it was not far into this year that the rent stopped being paid at the Hilltop location. March would be the since then. And May for the downtown location. It's an incredible fall for a restaurant and for a name that many of us, the establishment enjoyed eating at. But we'll always remember the memories that we received from the original crew and the ones that then took over. I'm sure we will remember that as well. Of course, for what it's worth, the downtown location still open today. And as last we've heard, the Hilltop location still open. We'll see how long that lasts.
Family Medical Clinic of Walnut Ridge and Bono are your neighborhood healthcare providers, and we're now accepting new patients. We know you have a tight schedule, so we're here 6 days a week at both locations from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. In Walnut Ridge, stop by 1045 West Main Street or call us to make an appointment, 886-8300. In Bono, we're on Highway 63 North or call 930-9990. Walnut Ridge Family Medical Clinic and Bono Family Medical Clinic, here for you when you need us.
It's time for us to take a look at your New Wave Wireless forecast, home of the $49 iPhone screen repair. For your Wednesday, expect to see sunny skies with a high around 91 today, down to 70 tonight, mostly clear. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high around 91. Showers and thunderstorms may start Friday. They're not necessarily expected, a 30% chance in the morning hours especially. And then a high around 87, a little bit cooler. For your Saturday, mostly sunny with a high around 87. And after 1 a.m. Saturday night, it's going to be shower and thunderstorm territory. It looks like at least for a few days. There may even be a few showers and thunderstorms Saturday night before 1 a.m. But Sunday, expect them. And expect a mostly cloudy sky otherwise with a high around 86. Monday, expect showers and thunderstorms on the way too. Looks like they'll taper off a little bit Tuesday. But it's, you're waking up right now with about 74 degrees outside. I know you're not waking up used to waking up to listening to this guy. But we're here this morning. We decided to do a special early morning broadcast. And thank you for joining us in our early morning broadcast. We do greatly appreciate it. We'll be back most likely tomorrow with more news from Northeast Arkansas. Probably still do a few posts today, news story post and whatnot. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to do another live broadcast today. I hate to say that, but I think I just did like 2 in the last 8 hours, so I don't want to, overdo it. You guys might get sick of me if I start talking that much to you, right? I'm Stan Morris. I think so, anyway. And you're up to date on NEA Report. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Almost said tonight. Might be time for some rest.